before midnight. One last thought before I go. The city hums beyond the window, but there's a silence only I know. The candle shakes beside the whiskey, the old guitar's breathing low. I watch the rain run down the glass and think about the roads I chose. I spent the evening counting choices, the ones I made, the ones I missed. Some roads don't lead to where you want it, but they still teach you what exists. I don't need another answer, I don't need another sign. Some decisions take a lifetime before a man can call them right. This is the last drink before midnight, then I leave the past behind. I don't need another answer, I already know what I will find. This is the last drink before midnight, the final shadow on the wall. Some men don't need a second chance, they simply choose not to fall again. I have lost what I thought I needed, I have kept what made me whole. And somewhere between the two, I finally learned to trust my soul. I have loved without possession, I have lost without disgrace. I have learned that true composure is not letting pain control your face. There were moments I could have shouted, there were doors I could have kicked, but a man who understands his value doesn't beg to be admitted. So I leave a little wiser, with my collar turned against the cold. The night has taken what it came for, but it never took my soul. The past can call my number, it can wait outside my door, but I have learned that some old ghosts don't deserve a conversation anymore. This is the last drink before midnight, then I leave the past behind. I don't need another answer, I already know what I will find. This is the last drink before midnight, the final shadow on the wall. Some men don't need a second chance, they simply choose not to fall again. I have lost what I thought I needed, I have kept what made me whole. And somewhere between the two, I finally learned to trust my soul. Tomorrow may be difficult, the road may still be long, but I've walked through worse than uncertainty and somehow still moved on. I don't know what waits beyond me, but I know what I won't become. I won't trade my peace for people who only loved me when I was undone. This is the last drink before midnight, and the night is almost gone. I leave behind the man who waited for a place where he belonged. This is the last drink before midnight, the final shadow on the wall. Some men don't need a second chance, they simply choose not to fall again. The glass is empty, the night is still. I walk outside because I will. The rain is cold, the road is wide, and I have nothing left to hide. I have kept promises that hurt me. I have stayed when I should have gone. I have carried other people's burdens long after they had moved along. I've shown up in the darkness when nobody showed for me. I have kept my word to people who forgot what they had promised me. There were times I could have walked away and no one would have called me wrong, but something in me kept on saying, a man's word has to mean something when the feeling's gone. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, maybe I give more than I should, but I would rather lose with honor than win by doing what I never could. There is a price for keeping your word. Sometimes it costs you everything. Sometimes you stand alone at night with nothing left but what you mean. There is a price for keeping your word. Some promises become a chain, but I would rather carry what I said than become a stranger to my name. I have lost a lot by staying true, but I have never lost myself. And when the night gets quiet, that's the only wealth I need to have. I have watched the world grow careless with the things it says at night. People make forever promises and disappear at morning light. I don't judge them for their weakness, I just know I cannot live that way. If I tell you I will be there, you won't have to wonder if I stay. But loyalty is not surrender, and a promise is not a prison door. There comes a time when keeping faith means knowing what you cannot carry anymore. So I keep my word with wisdom, I don't give it to every hand. A promise means much more when it comes from a man who understands. There is a price for keeping your word. Sometimes it costs you everything. Sometimes you stand alone at night with nothing left but what you mean. There is a price for keeping your word. Some promises become a chain, but I would rather carry what I said than become a stranger to my name. I have lost a lot by staying true, but I have never lost myself. And when the night gets quiet, that's the only wealth I need to have. If I ever leave, I'll leave with truth. If I ever change, I'll tell you why. I won't make a promise just to keep you close, then disappear when the feeling dies. A man's word is not a weapon, it is not a thing to use. It is the mirror he must face I would have died to keep you near. But time has a way of making a man see clear. You left your silence in the kitchen, your perfume fading by the door. I stood there watching love disappear, like I had watched it disappear before. You said you needed something different. I said I understood the pain, but the truth was you had found another, and I was left to carry all the rain. I could have called you, I could have followed, I could have laid my pride down at your feet, but I had already lost myself the day I made your love my only need. I never begged you to stay, I never asked you to love me again. I let you walk away, even though you took the best of who I am. I never begged you to stay, I never chased your shadow down the road. A man can break inside and still refuse to let the whole world know. I never begged you, no, I never begged you to stay. I heard you found somebody better, or maybe just somebody new. I hope he never sees the darkness that I once carried home to you. I don't hate you for the leaving, I don't hate the way it had to end. Some people come into your life just to teach you never to abandon yourself again. So I burned the letters, I changed the number, I stopped looking for your face in every crowd. You thought I was made of stone, you never knew how hard I had to become proud. I never begged you to stay, I never asked you to love me again. I let you walk away, even though you took the best of who I am. Oh, I never begged you to stay, I never chased your shadow down the road. A man can break inside and still refuse to let the whole world know. I never begged you, no, I never begged you to stay. There are nights I still remember the way you used to say my name, and for a moment I am younger, before I learned that love can change. But I don't reach for what has left me, I don't knock on a closing door. I gave you everything I had, I won't give you anything more. I never begged you to stay, I let the silence say goodbye. took a part of me away, but you didn't take the man inside. I never begged you to stay. I never crawled to make you mine. Some losses hurt forever, but some losses save your life. I never begged you. No, I never begged you to stay. The rain is gone, the street is cold. The man you left is not the man you know. I never begged you to stay, and I never will. You knew the man who kept his composure, the one who never raised his voice, the one who made the difficult decisions like he had never had a choice. You knew the hands that held the door open. You knew the coat upon my back, but you never knew the man who sat alone when every little thing began to crack. You saw me standing in the morning. You never saw me lose the night. You never knew how many times I woke and had to teach myself to be alright. I never wanted you to save me, I never needed you to understand. I only wish that once in my life someone would see beyond the man. There's a man I never let you meet, the one who trembled underneath, the one who carried every fear and never let it reach his tears. There's a man I never let you know, the one I kept behind the door. He loved too much, he trusted once and learned what trust could cost him more. I gave you the strongest parts of me, the parts I knew would never break, but there was a whole other man inside I was too afraid to let you take. I've spent my life becoming useful, being the one that people need. I learned to fix what others damaged before I ever learned to bleed. I became the man with all the answers, the one who never needed help. But sometimes being strong for everyone means you disappear from yourself. I could have told you I was frightened, I could have told you I was tired, but the words stayed somewhere in my throat, and pride kept every door locked tighter. So I gave you my silence and called it being strong. But some things you don't say for years still find a way to follow you along. There's a man I never let you meet, the one who trembled underneath, the one who carried every fear and never let it reach his tears. There's a man I never let you know, the one I kept behind the door. He loved too much, he trusted once and learned what trust could cost him more. I gave Maybe that is why I lost you. Maybe that is why you left. You loved the man who could protect you, but never met the one who needed rest. I don't blame you for not seeing what I never let you see. A man cannot ask to be understood while hiding every part of who he used to be. There's a man I never let you meet, and now he's standing here with me. No longer hiding in the dark, no longer ashamed of every scar. There's a man I never let you know, and maybe now I finally do. I don't need to be made of stone to be the man I promised I would be true to. You knew the man who never broke, but now I know that wasn't all I was. I lost a lot along the way. Some people, some dreams, some yesterday. I watched good things leave my hands and learn that life won't always understand. There were nights I wanted to become the kind of man who trusted no one, to close the door and let the world become a place that couldn't hurt. I had every reason to grow colder, every reason to turn away. But somewhere underneath the damage, something in me chose to stay. Maybe I was foolish, maybe I was blind, but I couldn't let the darkness take the last good thing inside. You were the last good thing I kept when everything else had left. The part of me that still believed there was something worth protecting underneath. You were the last good thing I kept, the last light I wouldn't let forget. Even when the world had shown me pain, I kept a little kindness in my name. I lost my trust, I lost my way, but I never let the darkness take the last good thing away. I don't mean a person when I say it, I mean the man I used to be, the one who could still feel compassion without expecting guarantees, the one who could still see a stranger and believe he might be kind, the one who didn't need a reason to leave a little good behind. I have seen what anger does to people, I have watched it eat them whole. I'd decided I would rather suffer than let bitterness become my soul. So I kept a little mercy, I kept a little faith, not for the world that hurt me, but for the man I had to save. You were the last good thing I kept when everything else had left. The part of me that still believed there was something worth protecting underneath. You were the last good thing I kept, the last light I wouldn't let forget. Even when the world had shown me pain, I kept a little kindness in my name. I lost my trust, I lost my way, but I never let the darkness take the last good thing away. I don't need to be innocent, I don't need to be naive. I can know exactly what the world is and still choose how I want to live. The hardest thing about surviving is not becoming what you hate, to keep your heart from turning hollow when the world gives you every reason to change. You were the last good thing I kept, and now I know what that meant. The world can take my years away, but it cannot choose the man I am today. I lost my trust, I lost my way. I have carried more than I could say, but I kept one thing through everything, the part of me that still knew how to stay. The night is cold, the world is hard, but there is still a little light inside my heart.
Candlelight dances across amber liquid. Guitar hums low, bass flowing beneath. Drums brush softly, a gentle heartbeat. I sit, a quiet presence, observing all. Segment 2, contemplation. Decisions made in private, struggles handled unseen. Every breath deliberate, every thought measured. Life outside rushes, oblivious to my pace. I move in calm intensity, fully composed. I move in calm intensity, fully composed. Segment 3, observation. The bartender hums softly, wiping a glass. Strangers laugh, smoke curls upward in lazy spirals. I absorb everything without intrusion. A gentleman moving quietly, intensely, deliberately. Segment 4, in a monologue. Every gesture reflects careful consideration. Every heart inner discipline. Segment 5, exit. The bar empties. The night stretches outward. Our eyes, coat over arm, vanish into streets asleep. A subtle presence felt but unseen. A man moving in deliberate, calm silence.
Smoke hangs like unfinished thoughts. Neon flickers, but I don't. I've been counting what can't be seen. Not the money, but what it means. Trust that doesn't bend or break. Choices only grown and make. I don't argue with the night. I just sit and let it ride. Every scar across my hand is a line I chose to stand. They measure worth in noise and fame. I measure mine in what remains. When the room is stripped of pride and there's nowhere left to hide. Every loss refined my tone. Every fall carved deeper stone. Silence is a currency spent with care and dignity. I don't talk about the climb, I just move when it's time. No announcement, no decree, just quiet authority. Late night deals without a word. Respect is felt before it's heard. As I scan, not for fear, but for truth that's standing near. I've seen loud men fade away, burn too fast then decay. I prefer a steady flame, one that doesn't need a name. Whiskey low, collar straight. I don't rush, I calculate. Every breath a chosen pace. Every step leaves no trace. You can keep your spotlight glow. I got places I don't show. Power isn't what you claim, it's what remains without a name. Silence is my legacy, built on self-control and clarity. If you're searching for the throne, I've already built my own. In the quiet I became everything without the fame. Just a heavier beating heart. The first lesson life ever taught me didn't come from my father. It came from an empty chair across a table meant for two. People leave quietly long before they say goodbye. Since then I've trusted sidewalks more than promises. Roads never swear they'll stay, they simply lead somewhere else. Every cigarette burns the same, yet every man holding one carries a different funeral inside. The tailor still knows my measurements, though I haven't smiled in years. He says my shoulders changed. I tell him, coach, shrink. Some lies deserve kindness. I pass the bookstore every Thursday. The same novel waits in the window. Maybe someone is waiting too. Maybe waiting is all they have left. I don't need the world to notice every mile beneath my shoes. The strongest rivers never ask permission before carving through stone. If my voice stays hidden, it's because my purpose doesn't. The moon has seen enough of me to understand why I never explain. There are photographs I stopped looking at, not because they hurt, but because they no longer tell the truth. We're all strangers to the people we used to be. Tonight another train leaves the station. Someone waves, someone cries, someone pretends neither happened. I've been all three. The city sleeps with one eye open, so do broken hearts. Still, morning always arrives without asking if we're ready. I'll keep walking where conversations end. I'll keep building where memories collapse. No parade follows quiet men. No monument remembers patience. Yet somehow the darkest streets always know my name. Even if nobody else does. Every step disappears behind me. That's exactly how I planned it. No one teaches boys how to become lonely. It simply arrives, one responsibility at a time. My hands look older than the rest of me, maybe because they've spent decades holding together things words never could. A father's shoulder, a mother's hospital bed, an empty wallet, a breaking marriage, a trembling steering wheel on the drive home, after hearing news that changed everything. People often admire resilience. Few ever ask what it cost. I became quieter, not because life defeated me, because every unnecessary word began feeling too expensive. Silence turned into currency. I spent it carefully. The bartender asks another. I smile, no. I finally know what I'm trying to forget, and it isn't at the bottom of this glass. Outside, snow begins falling slowly, deliberately, just like forgiveness. Neither one can be rushed. If my son ever becomes the man I'm still trying to become, I hope he learns that strength has very little to do with carrying everything and everything to do with knowing when to ask someone to carry it beside you. The first snow disappears against my sleeve. Some things were only meant to touch us briefly. Every Friday I still polish my shoes. Old habits survive longer than old loves. The tailor once asked, big night ahead, I smiled. It's just another evening. He nodded like he understood. Maybe growing older is recognizing the lies people tell themselves and respecting them enough not to interrupt. Outside, rain painted silver across black asphalt. The city wore its loneliness well. I walk past expensive restaurants, watching families through fogged up windows. Children laughed without realizing how rare that sound becomes. I wasn't jealous, only grateful that memories can still warm a man long after they stop belonging to him. The night wrapped itself around my shoulders like an old coat that no longer fits, yet feels impossible to throw away. No one noticed the gentleman crossing another silent intersection. No headlines followed him, no music welcomed him home. Still, every quiet choice he made built another piece of the man he could finally live with. There are victories too small to celebrate. Learning not to call, learning not to explain, learning to let unanswered questions remain unanswered. Some peace can only grow in untouched soil. Midnight isn't lonely, it simply removes the audience. That's when a man discovers who he's been performing for. Tonight I walk with empty hands, no regrets to defend, no anger to carry, only another mile beneath familiar shoes. Maybe no one will remember me, but I hope they remember how quietly kindness can exist. The wrinkles in my suit, no more stories than I ever will. Every city has one man who knows which cafes stay open the latest. Not because he's lonely, because quiet tastes better after midnight. I nodded strangers who never learned my name. Maybe that's kindness, maybe that's freedom. The newspaper says tomorrow matters. The old janitor smiles like tomorrow has always been overrated. My shoes have crossed enough bridges to understand rivers. Nothing keeps flowing by holding on. The clock tower rings twice, no audience, no celebration. Time has never needed permission. So I carry my intentions like folded letters in my pocket. No one reads them, no one has to. Every decision blooms quietly, long before anyone notices the change. The strongest roots grow where nobody looks. There was someone who once asked why I never argued, because storms don't negotiate with the sea. They pass, so do people, so do dreams. Only character keeps walking. Tonight the skyline wears blue smoke. The moon hides behind tired clouds. I keep the same pace, neither fast nor slow, certain. If history forgets me, the sidewalks won't. They've counted every silent promise I've kept to myself. A man doesn't become stronger by speaking louder. Sometimes he simply learns which words deserve to remain unsaid. The night tips its hat, I return the gesture.
Midnight leans against the buildings. Street lights flicker out and thin. My footsteps trace the broken pavement where the noise of day has never been. Guitar bleeds through the silence, low and patient in my veins. Every note a quiet reminder, some victories don't make names. Windows glow like distant memories. Behind curtains drawn too tight, everyone fights their private battles. I just prefer mine out of sight. No raised voice, no restless movement, no need to prove control. The strongest shifts in any city happen deep inside a soul. I don't announce my intention, I don't rehearse my plan. I let decisions ripen slowly before I move my hand. I move like shadows over asphalt lines. Deliberate steps, no warning sign. The loud may chase their borrowed shine, but I build mine in the night. There's power in restraint, and knowing when to wait, and letting opportunities reveal their natural weight. I've seen ambition self-destruct from speaking far too soon. Patience is a sharpened blade, kiss without a wound. Every street I cross remembers the man I used to be. Reactive, loud, impatient, chasing visibility. But growth don't scream for witnesses. It happens quietly. I move like shadows over asphalt lines. Purpose in my quiet spine. Not every empire needs a sign. Some are built in the night. Streetlight fades behind me, city breathing slow. I leave no sound, no evidence, just a direction only I know. Smoke drifts thin across the ceiling. Soft percussion marks the hour. There's elegance in hesitation when it's rooted in true power. I observe before engaging. Let the moment fully land. Reaction is for impulse, strategy is for a man. Every choice I make tonight was considered days ago. You see calm across my features, you don't see the undertow. Bass hums deep beneath the surface, like decisions sealed in stone. The strongest moves are subtle and often made alone. Calculated grace in motion, no rush to intervene. The loud may chase attention, I master what's unseen. Calculated grace in silence, steady as the tide. There's power in containment when ego steps aside. Ego steps aside. The cost of urgency, of speaking far too soon. Patience build advantage underneath the moon. So I let the room reveal itself, let patterns come to light. A man who studies shadows navigates the night. You call it quiet, I call it control. Ooh, the candle flickers once, decision made.
or listen from the side. Men get know you when they're scared of what they hide inside. I kept my bags half full, I kept my temper low. I've learned how power moves without a show. I don't regret the moment, I let it reveal. Truth comes out when you don't own it, when you let it feel. He never raised his voice, never slammed the door. He made a choice, then he made one more. No depths unwanted, no emotion to quiet. He left it for the morning, like a disciplined boy. Some men confuse noise with stuff. I made that mistake. Now I measure depth and length of every step I take. I don't argue with fools, I don't educate ways. I just quietly move off the stage. He never raised his voice, never needed to. He saw the choice, then he followed through. No speeches, no scene, no need to explain. He stayed unseen and still remained. Calm is intimidating if you understand. Silence is devastating when you command it. I don't shout to be heard, I don't push to be strong. I just wait for the word that tells me I'm gone. Streetlight blinks like it agrees. Sit enough to make some men shout to feel free. I walk away to keep my sight. He never raised his voice, but the room felt changed. He made his choice, and the world rearranged. Just a calm behind an empty space. Silence spoke for him. had long gone quieter. The laughter left the air. Only low light and reflections rest gently in my chair. I've seen men chase ovations like oxygen for pride. But applause is just a moment, then the echo has to hide. What matters is what lingers when the spotlight fades to black. When you're left with who you are and what you didn't like. Baseline steady underneath me, grounded, calm, precise. I've learned the cost of spectacle. It really pays twice after the applause. Who are you alone, without the noise around you, without the borrowed tone? After the applause, do you still stand tall, or did you build your empire temporary core? I prefer a quieter legacy, built without display, because presence forged in silence doesn't fade away. Emotion doesn't run me, it sits beside the wheel. I acknowledge every feeling, but I decide what's real. No curtain call, just a lineman. The band starts with a slow blues, exactly the kind of song that makes old memories sit beside you without asking permission. There was a version of me who wanted revenge, who wanted answers, who who wanted someone to hurt. The way I had, I'm thankful. He didn't get his wish. Pain passed through him. It didn't become him. The bartender wipes the same glass 3 different times. Not because it's dirty, because some routines help people survive. Mine is coming here once every Thursday, ordering the same drink, listening to strangers laugh and remembering the world didn't end just because mine briefly did. Healing never arrives dramatically, no sunrise, no miracle. Only one ordinary morning when I realized I hadn't thought about yesterday for several hours, then several days, then long enough to notice birds again. If you ask me where peace lives, I'd tell you inside the moment. You stop demanding that life return what it already took. Acceptance isn't surrender, it's finally putting down what no longer belongs in your hands. The last note fades, no applause yet, only silence. Beautiful, complete, unhurried silence. Perhaps every soul is secretly searching for exactly this. I finish my drink, button my coat, step into the cold night. The streets remain empty, the city remains quiet, the stars remain distant, yet something inside me feels closer than it has in many years. Not because life became easier, because I finally stopped trying to outrun the man walking beside me. He was never my enemy. He was simply waiting for me to come home. Behind me, the jazz continues for someone else ahead of me. The night opens like an old friend who never asks why you've been gone so long. There was a time I believed whiskey held answers. Now I know it only echoes questions you brought with you. The first sip tastes like old decisions, the second like acceptance. Everything after that is memory trying to rewrite itself. I stop after one. These days, clarity means more than escape. An elderly couple shares one dessert, two forks, one quiet smile. Love after enough years stops trying to impress anyone. Maybe that's why it becomes beautiful. I spent too much of my life trying to be understood. Now I'm content being honest. The difference feels like removing a heavy coat after winter ends. So I choose the slower road, the gentler answer, the quieter victory. Not because I'm tired, because storms already taught me how expensive noise can become. The candle beside me burns lower. No panic, every flame knows its purpose isn't to last forever, only long enough to give someone a little light. Perhaps that's all any of us are, temporary lights for one another. Tonight I leave half the drink untouched, not out of sadness, out of gratitude. Drown what I've already learned how to carry outside. The city waits inside. The glass remains, neither asks who I used to be.
Neon crying in the rain, like it knows the weight I hold. Every promise sounds the same when you've learned to walk alone. I don't answer when they stare, eyes low, hands in my coat. Life taught me to prepare before the coldest snow. I don't explain my reasons, they wouldn't understand. Some seasons stay unspoken, some truths stay in your hand. These streets don't need my words, they already know my face. I've been quiet, I've been hurt, I learned the value of my pace. I don't announce my leaving, I don't argue with the past. I move like I'm believing that silence always lasts. Men get loud when they feel small. I've been there, I chose the dark. I'd rather lean against the wall than leave another mark. I count my steps, I count my scars, I don't count who's to blame. I learned how to read the stars without ever saying my name. These streets don't need my words, they hum beneath my shoes. I've watched the brave and the absurd, I've watched the broken choose. I don't stay for conversation, I don't stay for the fight. I walk with quiet concentration through the spine of the night. Silence ain't weakness, it's discipline learned. Every scar I carry is a lesson earned. I don't fold under pressure, I just slowly align. Every move I measure, every step is mine. Streetlight flickers like a breath, I pass under, then I'm free. Another man outruns his death, I just let it walk with me. These streets don't need my words, they know the sound of calm. I don't sing like other birds, I stay low, stay warm. If you ask where I've been, I'll just nod and pass. Some men leave noise behind, I leave empty glass. No words, just footsteps fading. No words, just footsteps fading. No words, just footsteps fading. Smoke drifts lazily, catching the candlelight. Warm guitar notes flow, bass hums beneath the night. It's calm yet charged with thought. Brush drums whisper a rhythm I follow. Segment 2. Contemplation, every decision I make weighed in silence. Life's battles carry without spectacle. I sit observing, absorbing the gentle chaos. The quiet man who measures each step. deliberately. Segment 3. Observation. The bartender wipes a glass, smiles faintly. Strangers laugh, smoke curls from a cigarette. I see everything remain unseen, a shadow in the dim light, presence felt but silent. Segment 4. Self-reflection, candlelight flickers across my lined hands. Each line a story, each breath a choice. I move through the night with calm intensity. Decisions like stones laid carefully, unannounced. When the hour fades, I rise, coat over arm. Step outside, leaving streets untouched by my presence. A gentleman carried by deliberate motion, silence trailing him like a shadow.
People think heartbreak sounds loud. It doesn't. It sounds like your own breathing in a room built for two. The coffee grows cold before I remember to drink it. Outside, someone laughs. The sound reaches my window like a letter addressed to another life. I folded your old sweater months ago, couldn't throw it away, couldn't wear it either. Some things exist only to remind us that time heals differently than we hoped. You once asked why I always looked out the window, because horizons never promised anything, yet somehow they always made me believe another day was possible. I've stopped chasing closure. Some stories were never written to end cleanly. Some people remain inside us like songs we can no longer remember completely, yet somehow still know by heart. I don't hate you. That chapter ended years ago. What remains is quieter. A gratitude for the man. Losing you forced me to become. If our paths ever cross again, let's smile like strangers who unknowingly saved each other's lives. No blame, no questions, only two people who finally understand that love isn't measured by how long it lasted, but by how deeply it changed us. The room is still quiet, so am I, for once. Neither of us feels empty. Dear night, you've listened patiently. Allow me to keep one secret. There's a photograph hidden inside my wallet. The edges are worn, the faces are young, the smile's completely convinced. Nothing bad would ever happen. I don't carry it because I miss yesterday. I carry it to remember. Hope once looked like that. The jazz band improvises. Every wrong note finds its place. Life, I've noticed, works similarly. My greatest accomplishment will never appear on paper. It's this: learning to leave people better than I found them. Even while quietly falling apart myself, the night already knows half my story, the other half belongs to the man who survived it. Not every scar needs translation. Some simply deserve respectful silence. The candle flickers, my shadow grows longer. Funny, as light becomes smaller, truth becomes easier to see. Tell it I was grateful. Gratitude outlasts happiness every time. I leave a generous tip, not for the service, for allowing me one more evening to quietly forgive myself.
The bar felt him leave before the chair cooled down, like something learned to breathe with less sound. He didn't rush his coat or hat, didn't check the room. A man who knows where he's been at leaves room. Wax from candles trace the hours, jazz band one last true. He carried weight, not borrowed power from you. No apologies in his step, no war inside. He understood what silence kept alive. Some men vanish loud and broken, some men leave proud, unspoken. Bartender watched, then looked away. Respect doesn't stare. The night accepted him like, say, a prayer. Behind him nothing changed at all, and that was fine, because real presence doesn't fall behind. The bar already knew who he was. I have rehearsed one conversation for nearly 20 years. Funny thing, it never happened. Your favorite chair would still be beside the window. I know because I walked past the old apartment last autumn. Someone else lives there now. They painted the walls white as though fresh paint could erase echoes. I don't miss who we were, I miss how easily we believed
tomorrow. Back then, the future felt endless. Now I understand. The future is simply a collection of ordinary evenings we mistakenly believed would happen forever. Every gentleman carries one farewell he never delivered, one embrace he held back, one truth he swallowed, not because he lacked courage, because timing can be crueler than fear. I found your handwriting inside an old novel. One sentence, just 7 words. I hope life is gentle with you. It wasn't, but somehow it made me gentle instead. The saxophone sighs, the glasses clink softly. Nobody notices the war ending quietly inside one man's heart. If I could return to one afternoon, I wouldn't change history. I'd simply stay 5 minutes longer. Listen, 5 minutes deeper, love, 5 minutes braver. Sometimes a life changes by exactly 5 forgotten minutes. Outside, the rain finally stops. Inside, so do I.
Every city has a rhythm. After midnight settles in, when the noise of day is fading and reflection can begin. I've been walking through the silence where the honest thoughts remain, where a man can face his shadow without needing to explain. I remember who I used to be before the world turned cold, before I learned that quiet men often carry hearts of gold. Every promise that was broken, every lesson carved in stone, built to calm I'll walk with now. Through these streets I call my own. Midnight knows my name, knows the roads I've crossed, knows the quiet victories and the battles I have lost. Midnight holds my truth in a glow of distant signs, where a silent man keeps moving while the world falls out of line. Somewhere in another lifetime I might have stayed and fought, but wisdom comes from walking when the fight ain't worth the cost. So I leave another corner with the city far behind, knowing every step in silence now leaves the past where it belongs. Midnight knows my name, but the world never will.
The piano's been playing the same melody for nearly an hour. No one seems to notice, except the old man polishing glasses behind the counter. A candle trembles each time the front door opens, as if even the flame has learned that everyone eventually leaves. I sit where the light barely reaches, not hiding, just allowing the night to speak first. There was a season when I mistook noise for courage. I believed every answer deserved a voice. Every wound deserved an audience. Time corrected me. Now I know the deepest rivers never argue with the stones they pass. They simply continue. The bartender pours another drink. He doesn't ask if I need it. He knows some men come here to remember. Others come here to survive remembering. Across the room a couple shares a quiet smile. I don't envy them, I envy how young they still are. To believe every promise arrives with forever attached. No one warns us that forever usually leaves quietly without taking its suitcase. So I keep my thoughts beneath my collar, my regrets beneath my breath, my victories somewhere no applause can reach. The world hears enough shouting, it rarely notices a man choosing kindness when bitterness would have been easier. I still carry my father's pocket watch. It stopped years ago, I've never repaired it. Some things deserve to remain broken, not because they cannot be fixed, but because they remind us time was once generous. Sometimes I hold it in my palm, listening to a silence only memory can hear. Outside, rain softens the city. Streetlights blur into golden rivers. No destination feels urgent anymore. Not because I've given up, because I've finally learned that peace arrives at walking speed. Tonight I'll leave this bar exactly as I entered, without announcing my burdens, without explaining my scars. Yet something has changed. Another invisible weight has quietly slipped from my shoulders. Some men celebrate with raised glasses. I celebrate by needing one less. The candle burns lower, the music fades, my chair grows empty, the silence stays behind, still wearing my name.
Every man needs a version of himself. Only the night has ever seen. I walk beneath the windows, filled with borrowed happiness. Television's glowing, families eating, dogs asleep by warm fireplaces. Beautiful scenes, beautiful enough to remind me that peace looks different in every home. Mine has always lived somewhere between motion and silence. A forgotten melody drifted from an old apartment upstairs. I couldn't remember the lyrics, only how life felt before responsibilities learned my address. Funny, growing older isn't losing dreams, it's learning which ones can survive reality. Every unanswered prayer still led me somewhere, just not where I expected. I keep my footsteps soft. The city owes me nothing, the moon owes me nothing. Even tomorrow makes no promises. Still I choose to move forward, not because I'm fearless, because standing still has never healed anyone. The river carried reflections neither of us recognized anymore. Water never argues with the shape of the shore, it simply continues. Maybe that's courage, not winning, continuing. One day someone will ask how I survived the quiet years. I'll tell them I stopped searching for people
to rescue me, and finally became someone I could walk beside. Before the morning ever knows my name, I'll leave another piece of sorrow somewhere beneath these fading streetlights, not forgotten, not denied. Simply place where it can no longer decide who I become. And if anyone ever follows these empty streets, may they discover what I finally learned, that the strongest men aren't the loudest ones, they're the ones who quietly keep going long after the world stops watching. The first light touched the horizon. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like hiding anymore.
Midnight walks into the barroom like an old familiar friend. Every chair and every shadow knows exactly where it ends. There's a man beside the counter with a patience in his eyes, like someone who stopped believing. Every beautiful disguise, he has seen the pride of daylight and the promises it made. But the night reveals a difference between real and what it fakes. Years ago he fought the silence, now he welcomes what it shows. Because midnight tells the truth that every quiet man soon knows. Midnight knows the truth that daylight hides away. Midnight knows the reason why some men choose to stay. Midnight knows the stories written deep in older scars. Midnight knows the courage of the calm behind the bars. Soon the
sky will start to lighten, and the city wakes again. But the truth he found tonight will stay with him till then. He carried himself like a decision already made and lived. No hesitation in his vision, no need to forgive. The bar reflected him in parts. Glass never shows the whole. He'd stitched himself from broken starts into control. Some men confuse silence with fear. He knew the cost, he'd paid attention year by year, and lost enough illusions to stand still without collapsing. Stillness is a practice skill worth mastering. A couple laughed 2 stools away. He smiled, not bitter. Joy isn't loud when it's real, they say. It's quieter. He folded pain the way you fold a jacket clean, not hiding it, just keeping hold of what it means. He didn't speak, he arrived. When he stood, the room adjusted without a sound. Presence doesn't need to be trusted. It's found. The door closed gentle behind his back. No need to rush. A man like that doesn't crack, he hushes. He carried himself, and that was enough. Candlelight leans across the table, amber resting in my hand. The room hums low in minor chords, soft drums like distant sand. I've learned to sit with silence without the need to fill the air.
man who understands restraint doesn't advertise he's there. The loud rehearse their confidence, projected through the room. I let mine settle slowly, like smoke beneath the gloom. Every word I choose is measured, every pause intentional, because presence built on discipline is nearly dimensional. This is the discipline of quiet, the art of standing still, of holding storms behind the eyes, through patience and through will. I move without announcement, no spectacle to deploy. The strongest kind of power makes no unnecessary noise. Swallow pride before it spoke, let ego lose its seat, because a calm and centered man is difficult to defeat. The guitar bends slow and thoughtful, like memory refined by time. I don't chase validation, my alignment is my sign. There is weight in composure, in breathing slow and deep, in knowing what to answer and what to never keep. The candle burns lower, nothing in the room has changed, but something in me has a line.
Some men shout across the room just to prove they still exist, but the strongest kind of present is the one you nearly miss. I've been standing in the corner, watching chaos pass me by, learning every quiet answer to the questions people hide. Became a teacher, every fall became a map, showing where the road gets narrow and where fools fall through the cracks. So I move without announcement, like the tide beneath the moon. Not every man who's silent is afraid to leave a wound. That's the weight of a calm mind when the world begins to shake. Every breath becomes a promise, every move a choice you make. That's the weight of a calm mind, not a word you have to say, when your silence holds the power to just quietly walk away. how I never raise my voice, but they'll never know the battles that refine my quiet choice. That's the weight of a calm mind when the world begins to shake. Every breath becomes a promise, every move a choice you make. That's the weight of a calm mind, not a word you have to say, when your silence holds the power to just quietly walk away.
Three a.m. tells the truth. The daylight hides. No audience, no proof, just you and your mind. I've chased applause before. It cost me sleep. Now I value something more. I value deep. I don't flex my scars, I don't advertise pain. Some men count their bars, I count what remains. Nothing to prove at 3 a.m. No one watching me breathe, I don't pretend. I just let myself be. No trophies, no crown, no need to be brave. I stay on my ground, quietly behave. City hums like it knows exactly who I am. I've been high, I've been low, now I just stand. I don't compete with ghosts, I don't chase my youth. I toast to the losses that taught me a truth. Nothing to prove at 3 a.m., no script to perform. I don't condemn, I just stay warm. If judgment knocks, I won't answer the call. I learned the cost of caring at all. Freedom isn't loud, it barely breathes. Strength isn't proud, it quietly leaves. I don't need validation from a world that lies. I make peace with isolation and learn to rise. Streets empty like my phone, that's how I like it now. I've learned how to be alone without asking how. Nothing to prove at 3 a.m., just me and the night. I don't pretend, I don't fight. When morning comes, I'll already know. I stayed numb and still grew. 3 a.m., no witnesses. reflections on polished wood. A glass turns slow between my hands. Jazz moves quiet through the shadows, like a language few understand. I don't lean into conversation, I don't dominate the floor. Authority wrapped in velvet doesn't knock on doors. Life offered louder versions of the man I could have been, but noise dissolves in pressure. Restraint is what sustains within. Every setback sharpened patience, every loss refined control. Now my silence carries gravity. You can feel but can't console. Velvet authority, low and steady, calm in the face of flame. I don't need to raise my voice to redefine the game. Velvet authority, quiet command. The room adjusts its tone. Some men enter loudly, others simply own. Like it understands the cost I've rebuilt in private spaces from what the world thought lost. Discretion is my signature, precision my reply. Emotion, discipline, not buried, just trained not to comply. No applause, just alignment.
Candle flickers, it's flame dancing with my thoughts. I draw in a long breath, feel the smoke coil around the air. Faces drift past, laughter like echoes in a hollow hall. I sit unmoving, letting the warmth of guitar hum wash over me. Every choice I've made tonight, and every one before, way softly in the dim light, like ash falling into a glass. Brush drums whisper secrets, steady and discreet. I let the world rush by, I remain deliberate still.
I noticed the bartender polishing glasses, the quiet clink. I noticed the shadows stretching across the floor. And I know no one sees the weight I carry, a gentleman in thought, moving without sound. Take another sip, let the warmth settle. My eyes trace the candle's reflection in the dark. The night is mine, a companion to my reflection. I leave no trace, yet everything is marked inside. Music swells gently, carrying my calm intensity. Every note aligns with a heartbeat I dare not show. And when the hour passes, I rise discreet, a quiet man leaving the room. Some nights pass like strangers, some nights leave a mark. But every man remembers the night he met the dark, the night the truth arrived without a warning sign, the night he saw the difference between noise and peace of mind. He sat there with the candle, watching smoke dissolve, realizing every battle didn't have to be resolved. The years behind him whispered through the rhythm of the blues. Sometimes losing arguments is how a man can choose. That was the night he understood what silence really means, the calm beneath the surface of the life he used to lead. That was the night he understood what patience really shows, that wisdom doesn't shout, it simply learns and grows. And somewhere in that quiet bar, a different man stood up. Hat pulled low, collar high. Rain, don't ask me why. I cross a block like I belong to every place and under night. I don't rush, I don't stall. I don't need to prove a thing. I've seen kings learn how to fall from chasing everything. I don't shine under lights, I prefer the side view. Some men live for the fight, I live for getting through. I'm a gentleman nobody sees, walking soft through borrowed time. I don't bend my knees, I just straighten my spine. I don't leave a scene, I don't need a friend. I just move clean from beginning to end. Cigarette smoke, distant train, someone crying in the blue. I've learned how to feel the pain without letting it speak through. Every loss taught me control, every win taught me restraint. I don't gamble with my soul, I just accept what I ain't. I'm a gentleman nobody sees, no reflection in the glass. I don't find memories, I just let them pass. I don't raise my voice, I don't ask why. I make a choice, then I walk by. I've been loud, I've been wrong, I pay the price in full. Now I keep my circle small and my movement's beautiful. Still waters, heavy mind, every step is pre-decided. I don't leave myself behind, I just move undivided. Morning waits, but I don't care. Night still owes me true. I walk like I've been there since the loss of you. I'm a gentleman nobody sees, but the street remembers me. I don't chase guarantees, I just move carefully. If the world forgets my face, I won't argue or defend. I was never meant to stay, I was built to transcend. Only the night tips his head, only the night tips his head. Only the night tips his head. Footsteps on pavement, soft as a sigh. The city watches, but it doesn't know why. I pass the neon glow, the late night haze. Every glance I steal, every quiet phrase. A man in motion, unseen, unclaimed. Actions deliberate, never named. I take what I need, leave nothing behind. A careful life, a careful mind. I move in silence, I strike without sound. The streets are my kingdom, no one around. I feel every heartbeat, I see every lie. I live guitar hums low like the pulse in my chest. Warm bass and drums guide me west. I'm a man who knows the weight of a choice. I speak with my eyes, I silence my voice. Every night I canvas, every step a line. I trace the city, the dark, the divine. No applause, no fame, no shallow praise, just the rhythm of night, the quiet ways. I move in silence, I strike without sound. The streets are my kingdom, no one around. I feel every heartbeat, I see every light. I live in the shadows, letting the world pass by.
The bar is dim, shadows stretch along the walls. Candlelight dances over polished wood and glass. Guitar hums warm, analog inviting. Drums brush soft, a heartbeat I can feel. Segment 2, reflection. I hold my drink, feeling the weight of unspoken choices. Each thought deliberate, every breath measured. Life moves fast outside these walls. Here time bends, slow and deliberate. Segment 3, observation. Patrons laugh, conversations drift and fade. I notice subtleties, gestures, fleeting expressions. The world remains oblivious to the intensity I carry. A quiet gentleman moving through shadows of thought. Segment 4, in a monologue. Every struggle handled without display. Every victory private, uncelebrated. Candlelight mirrors calm determination. Each flicker a silent testament to careful living. Segment 5, departure. The bar empties, shadows stretch longer. I rise softly, coat draped, footsteps light. Outside the city sleep, unaware of me. A man moving in quiet, intense
The bar hums softly, lights dim and golden. I cradle my glass, watching ripples like distant memories. Guitar bends low, bass hums steady beneath it. Drums brush like rain, tapping on a silent window. I think of the life I navigate quietly. Every victory understated, every struggle contained. The conversations float by, I nod politely, yet no one senses the deliberation behind my eyes. Stranger laughs, the sound light but fleeting. I trace the movement of shadows along the wall. I remember yesterday, the choices I made. All wait, all silent, all unseen. I tilt my glass, feeling the warmth linger. The candle flickers in reflection, a private stage. I am here yet not, a presence felt not seen. A gentleman holding the night in his hands. As the hour wanes, as I rise slowly, the chair slides without protest, leaving no mark outside. The world moves unaware. Inside I carry calm, intensity, discretion.
Walk the streets where the city exhales. Neon reflections tracing my trails. The night is heavy, thick with thoughts. Every step deliberate, every lesson taught. Windows glow with stories I can't tell. Faces drift past like a passing bell. I move unnoticed, a shadow in grace. A man who treads softly, leaving no trace. Silent horizon, I chase the night. No need for noise, I follow the light. Every move measured, every breath mine. I move in silence through space and time.
bass hums like a heartbeat low. Electric strings weep with a subtle glow. Drums whisper like rain on the stone. I take the night as my very own. Every corner holds secrets, quiet and deep. I walk alone, yet the city keeps its pulse, its rhythm, but I remain a moving enigma in the midnight rain. Silent horizon, I chase the night. No need for noise, I follow the light. Every move measured, every breath mine. I move in silence through space and time. The dawn arrives, the shadows fade. A man in the night, a path he made.
City skyline breathing slow, concrete rivers far below. I stand above the restless glow, where fewer men will go. Wind presses against my collar, cool, precise, awake. Every risk I take these days is one I've learned to calculate. Neon flickers in the distance, advertising borrowed dreams. I've outgrown the hunger for attention's fragile beams. Guitar hums in monotone, like questions never asked. Confidence is built in silence, not in moving fast. Up here, I redraw the line, rearrange the stakes. The loud makes sudden movement, quiet orchestrates. Up here, I see the pattern beneath the city noise. A man who masters patience controls the final choice. Rise. Success without foundation is just ego in disguise.
Every step from here is measured, every partnership examined. Emotion sits behind the wheel, but discipline commands it. You won't hear the shift occur, you won't see the spark. Realignment happens in the dark.
Below they chase reflections,
Sun above,
above I stand composed.
whoa.
Below they chase reflections,
Sun above, sun above, sun above.
below they chase reflections,
Sun above,
above I stand composed.
sun above,
Below they chase reflections,
sun above, sun above, sun above. The streets are empty, yet full of sound. Echoes of lives that rush around. I take each step with quiet intent, a man of action, but heaven sent. Windows glow with lives I don't know. I'm moving shadows completely alone. Every glance measured, every breath mine. I navigate night with a design. Long steps, a path unknown. I move in silence, I move alone. The city sleeps, but I remain, a shadow walking in the midnight rain. Guitar cries softly, bass runs low. Drums are subtle, steady, slow. Every moment calculated, every choice precise. I live my life without rolling dice. Through alleys dark, past neon light, I carve my way in the cloak of night. No one to follow, no one to see the life I lead in secrecy. Lone steps, a path unknown. I move in silence, I move alone. The city sleeps, but I remain, a shadow walking in the midnight rain. disappear. A man in motion, no one near. The candle burns but never trembles. You're steady in the draft, like a man who learned composure from the weight of aftermath. Your guitar hums in amber circles, soft against the glass. I don't speak about the storm, I've already let pass. Some men spark and fade in seconds, bright but quickly gone. I chose to be a lower flame, the kind that lingers on. You won't hear my history spilled across the bar, but every scar I carry rewrote who you think we are. Low flame character, burning deep inside. No need for wild reactions, no ego left to hide. Low flame character, calm but hard to break. The quietest man in any room are the ones you shouldn't mistake. Well, I've learned restraint is power. When pressure fills the air, when others lose their posture, I simply stay aware. The drums brush slow behind me, like footsteps through the night. I don't chase control loudly, I just hold it tight. The flame burns low, still steady. The candle dances, flickering across my glass. Reflections bending in the amber hue. Guitar hums warm, bass lays soft beneath. The drums brush gently like whispered secrets. I trace the night with my thoughts deliberate. Every choice measured, every move refined. Patrons laugh, unaware of the weight I carry. The quiet strength of a man who moves unseen. Smoke curls in slow, lazy spirals. I feel each note, each breath, each hesitation. Life's struggles are hidden behind calm eyes. Every internal storm handled without display. The world outside roars, but I remain contained. A gentleman navigating darkness with purpose. Every glance, every gesture is intentional. Yet my presence is felt without a sound. When the bar empties, I rise slowly, coat in hand, disappearing into night streets. No trace, no fanfare, only the subtle echo of a man moving quietly, fully aware. Fully aware.
Quiet suits don't beg for space. They occupy it slow. Tailored lines and broken face. That's how you know. This fabric holds what I survived, not what I lost. Elegance is staying alive at cost. I don't speak of tired eyes or nights that didn't end. A man who advertises scars has something left to mend. Jazz leans heavy on the room like truth with manners. I've learned how calm resumes when chaos stammers. I don't ask, I decide. There's power in finishing a drink before it finishes you. There's clarity in how you think when you stay true. I leave the bar like I was taught, no open tabs behind. I master less
and what it bought was time. Quiet stone bed, they endure. They won't hear me leave this place. No door slam, no goodbye. Just a space where I once stayed, and the echo asking why. I don't settle old debates, I don't write my name in stone. I just close unfinished gates and walk home alone. I don't carry explanations, they weigh more than truth. Some men need validation, I just need proof. He left only shadows on a midnight walk, no trail to follow, no phone call. He didn't burn bridges, he didn't stay, he just adjusted and walked away. Rain erased my footprints clean, like I was never there. Every loss sharpened me, every silence prepared. I don't linger in the past, I don't threaten the future. I learned how to move fast without losing structure. He left only shadows, nothing to explain, no tears to swallow, no visible pain. He didn't shout his name, he didn't fall apart. He just played the game with a guarded heart. Some men fade by accident, some disappear by choice. I learned how to be present without making noise. I don't need revenge, I don't need reward, I just quietly am what no longer belongs. Morning finds an empty street, like it always does. Another night in misdefeat, because I was. He left only shadows, no witness, no scar, just a calm tomorrow. Wherever you are, if you search the dark, you won't find his face. Just a quiet mark in an empty place. Only shadows.
I settle into a chair where the lamplight barely reaches. The bar around me quite alive, only in subtle tones. Guitar stretches notes like smoke, curling in the air. Drums brush soft, soft as my thoughts. I sip slowly, tasting more than the whiskey. Tasting decisions, weighing consequences. Silently, no one sees the internal storms I navigate. No applause for the quiet resilience I hold. Candlelight reflects on polished wood, catching my silhouette. A gentleman unmoving yet fully alive in the night. Every glance, every breath, calculated, intentional. I exist quietly, intensely, purposefully. The world outside roars, but here I am composed, a master of subtlety, moving without display. Patrons chatter and fade, music comes low. I absorb, I reflect, I measure each internal tide. Night ends, I rise gently, cold over my arm, disappearing into streets that know nothing of me. A quiet presence remains unseen but felt, the life of a man who moves in silence. Streetlight falling on the pavement, midnight breathing soft and low. Every shadow knows my story,
that no one else will ever know. Used to talk about my future, used to dream out loud and proud. But the world has ways of teaching quiet man to lead the crowd. I've been walking through decisions that no one else could ever see. Every step a silent promise of the man I had to be. Some doors closed without a warning, some friends faded in the rain. Some nights I learned the hard way how a man absorbs his pain. So I move in silence now, let the loud ones chase the sound. Every mile beneath these streetlights feels like sacred ground. No applause when I arrive, no farewell when I go. Just footsteps on the streetlight and the truth only I know. There were words I never answered, there were fights I didn't start. There were storms that tried to break me, but they only shaped my heart. Now the city keeps on breathing while I walk the midnight line. A gentleman without a witness, leaving echoes far behind. Streetlight fades behind my shadow, but the road is always mine.
Some men stay and argue, some men stay and bleed. Some men think persistence is the only thing they need. But wisdom has a different voice, a softer kind of say. It teaches men the discipline of walking far away. He once believed in fighting for every fading flame, but the years showed him a truth hidden inside the game. Not every door deserves a knock, not every war is right. Sometimes strength is knowing when to disappear at night. That's the quiet art of walking away. No anger, no defense, just a calm understanding of life and consequence. That's the quiet art of walking away with dignity. survives, and the peace that follows silence is the greatest win in life. The door closes behind him. The street welcomes his pace, and the night itself respects the calm upon his face. He sat where time slowed down, near the back, away from proof. No need to guard a fragile crown, no need to chase the truth. Jazz curled softly round his glass, like it had known him long. Some men move built for fast, he moved strong. His hands had learned when not to shake, his eyes had learned to lay. He knew the difference patience makes when stakes are high to pay. He didn't flinch at laughter loud, or jealousy nearby. A man who's made his peace with doubt lets moments die. The past sat quietly beside him, didn't ask for more. He'd buried it, but didn't hide it under the floor. Some men negotiate with fear, some men deny. He learned how to let it sit right here and try. Presence doesn't shout, it remains. A woman passed, perfume and grace. He didn't turn his head. Desire's just another place where discipline goes dead. He paid the tab, he stood up straight, adjusted to the night. Time remembered how to wait till he was out of sight. Time resumed only after